I decided to um, treat myself to a lie-in. So I only got in the office literally about 10 minutes ago. So uh, hopefully, I've not arrived too late for my usual folk who show up. Yes, good morning. So what I wanted to talk about this morning was a little encounter I had at the end of 2021. And it was crazy, really. I'm just going to make sure that all the streams kicked in and everything. So do say hello on the chat wherever you are. Morning, David. So what I'm going to do is I want to share with you the story of the person who I met who'd spent £100,000 on courses. 100 grand. It was nuts. Right. So I met this person. I'm going to change a few of the details just because I don't want them to feel singled out. So I met this person in person and sat down with them, and they told me they'd spent more than £100,000 in courses, all different ones, all different things. Write a book to grow your business, YouTube ads to grow your business, this to grow your business, all of this stuff. And I was a bit of a chicken in the way I approached it because I didn't want to say what I really thought, but I subsequently told them afterwards. And they'd hired me to basically help him sort through his business and go, how do I make this thing grow? Despite spending more than 100 grand on courses, his business had seen no growth. And it's like, right, this is pretty dire. So in my head, I'm thinking this guy's a course junkie, and there's a lot of course junkies out there. In fact, if you build a business appealing to course junkies, you can make a lot of money. The problem is it's not very fulfilling, to be honest with you, when people don't implement the stuff and get the result. That's why we make them stuff, right? That's why we make programs and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, a typical thing. Yep. Bought lots of things, looking for a magic answer, looking for an answer that changes everything. And the reality is, we all know in life there isn't a magic answer, but for some reason, when it comes to business, people with really good common sense in their personal lives, in their business lives, lose it and buy more stuff. And there is a sense of enjoyment of doing that and learning new things. But I recently read this quote that people love learning things, but they don't like implementing things. And so as a substitute for implementing new things, they learn some more stuff. And we can kind of convince ourselves that effectively we need to learn more before we do it. David Perry. Now, I see he's asked the question about came across a CIM recognized digital marketing social media program. I don't know what the CIM, Chartered Institute of Marketing's program's like. It's 4 days for 1,400 quid, right? I will give you my honest feedback. The CIM is a well-respected organization. So that's the first thing, well-respected organization. But if you're doing it to get a certificate under your belt, do not do it. I'll tell you why. 1,400 quid, it's like a driving license, right? Most of the accredited courses that you can get, I mean, we've got accreditations on ours, but a lot of the kind of big digital marketing is a massive topic. It's huge, mammoth. So I question what you can actually learn in 4 days. Yeah, I know you can learn a lot of information, but like a driving license, you actually learn how to drive on the road. So I've met a ton of Facebook ads people. I've met a ton of other people, and they've said every day they're relearning. So I'm not dissing or kind of pissing on the CIM's course, But if you're doing it for a certificate, you don't need to do it for the certificate. I'm a firm viewer. There's the apprenticeship model and there's the education model. What I try and do with our stuff is I try and put it into apprenticeship model where you can actually do stuff. But digital marketing and social media, I could spend 4 days with you on one social media channel. So that's why I say I worry about how they've condensed all of that into 4 days, because it's like it's a massive topic. And what I would do, actually, I'm going to say something counter to this. What I would do is look at which area of digital marketing you want to focus on and go deep on that, because a lot of the principles will apply across the channels. A lot of people think, oh, every channel's different. Well, there are quirks of the platforms, but they're changing all the time. The principles behind it are common. So I would go deep into one channel, one digital marketing channel, because a lot of the principles will work. If you understand humans, you'll get it. But 4 days is not a long time really to do digital marketing and social media. And it's a lot of money, 1,400 quid. But if you're doing it just for the certificate, I'm sure the content's brilliant. I'm sure the information's sound. But if you're just doing it for a certificate, don't do it. Anyway, so coming back to this guy, £100,000 on courses. I'm going to tell you about somebody else I met about 10 years ago who'd done something similar. So implementation is where everything works. And yesterday I was with some of our newer accelerator students, and I was Tuesday, sorry. And I was talking about systems. So most implementation needs a system. You need to build something that can work, like a flywheel or a series of cogs, a machine. And I talked about, you've got to put if you're making cars, you need a repeatable process system. David, if you want to look at SEO optimization and ads campaigns, why don't you do Google's own courses? I would do Google's own courses. I think some are free and some are quite low price, but Google has their own. So it might be better doing it from Google and just go deep into SEO and ad campaigns, because Google will teach you it all in there anyway. So have a look at Google's courses for SEO and ads. That'll give you a good grounding, and you won't pay 1,400 quid for it. Anyway, so you need a system. So everybody's wanting the easy answer. Yeah. Mike's here. Yeah, systems. Yeah. So everything needs a system. So what happens is you learn all of this stuff, you have to translate it. But that's the difficult bit. That's the bit that takes willpower and commitment, because, and I don't know whether Mike, you want to chip in on this. Mike does obviously health and helps people who are burned out and all that kind of stuff. But the principles of what I do on business growth and the principles of what Mike does in his world are actually the same. It's, you've got the knowledge, but then you have to put a system together. And the system often, it doesn't work perfectly the first few weeks. It takes time to get that system working fully. It's difficult. It feels tough to begin with. If I told you that you had to post on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram every single day, you'd go, what am I going to do? This is going to be tough. It's going to be hard to keep that routine. But I tell you what, if you can keep that routine, about 3 weeks down the line, you don't even think about it. You don't even think about it. It just comes naturally to you. But what happens is people buy the course, then they see all of this friction and difficulty and challenge and uncomfortableness and go, oh, this isn't working. Let's buy another course. No. Make the system work. Yeah. And Mike, that's probably the same in your world. Lots of people do that. We see that with gym memberships. Come January, gyms will make an absolute fortune. People will buy in because they're going to get in the best shape and have the greatest year and all this stuff. And then the friction of the system that's needed kicks in. And some people go, it shouldn't be this hard. I don't want to do this. This is hard. This is difficult. And they never find the rhythm. They never find that space where the cogs just turn comfortably. The first time you do something, the cogs are always difficult. So coming to this 100K spend on courses, I said to them, you got to stop spending money on courses. No more courses. No more courses. And that's the first thing. And then I said, right, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the courses that you've already done. Yeah. Even though these aren't my courses, we're going to pick one and we're going to help you implement that program. Yeah. Because I know, there is a lot of crap out there, but fundamentally, a lot of the stuff that's being produced is probably copy and paste from somewhere else. So let's take something that you've already spent money on and let's implement it and make it work. And it was like, okay, yeah. And then a few weeks down the line, the friction's there. It's like, no, maybe we should shift to that one. No, we're going to do this one. We're going to do this. We're going to stick to this. We're going to make this work. 3-4 months later, it's all working. They're getting new business. It's working. 100 grand on courses. They could have just bought one. Now I'll tell you another story. This is a sad story, really. About 10 years ago, I met a guy who had a very successful business, doing more than $1 million a year, and a very good lifestyle, very nice house, all the kind of trappings of a successful business. But he was eager, so flipping eager, and I'm going to come on to Andrew Tate in a minute. So flipping eager to grow his business or get out of this business. He was so eager to go, I want to be living a kind of semi-retired. He was in his 40s, semi-retired, all of that stuff, kind of like, I've checked out, I've made enough money, I don't need to work again. So business doing over $1 million a year and wanted to check out. He was still integral to the business. So there's one problem. He was integral to the business. But he was spending a huge amount of money on other business opportunities. So he's got this business here and he's spending other money on other opportunities. And we're not talking little amounts of money. We're talking like 20 grand here and 50 grand here and all this kind of stuff that he's throwing at these other opportunities because he wants that, I want to check out. At no point did he think, what if I spent the time to build my management team here, replace myself, put that money into my replacement, and I can just sit and let this thing run. He was looking for the multi-million pound checkout where he takes a big ton of cash and just disappears off. So basically, all this money is being spent on these, harebrained schemes. Meanwhile, he's got a good business over here that's funding all of this. We fast forward 10 years, that good business has gone bust. And he's now a solo consultant, as far as I'm aware. A hired gun, basically. Why? Because he wasn't thinking about, if I put the work in here, I can employ a management team, replace myself, and I can be out. Instead, he was pursuing this freaking Andrew Tate world, which is, don't get me started on him, which is, a total dream, the Lamborghini, the Bugatti, all this stuff. A lot of the times it's rented, by the way, to try and get that, because he felt, and this is what I don't like about some of the advertising around some of the courses and business opportunities, is they throw in your face this luxury, lavish lifestyle. And it can make a business owner feel like shit because they're like, I'm working really hard here. And why does it feel like this is so difficult? And they've got it so easy. Now, a lot of that is BS. A lot of it is marketing BS. But when you dig underneath it, actually, some of the ones that are genuinely successful didn't make their money. Initially. They had money to begin with. So, I saw a video from Gary Vee the other day about, it's an old video, about these guys who, and I'll tell you roughly my paraphrase. Gary Vee was talking, I like Gary Vee. He was talking about people are just hustling to make money, right? And then he's talking to this guy, and the guy says, I saw this opportunity for diapers. I think it's diapers.com actually, in an interview, where you could get them delivered to your home, like on a subscription service. So that's a brilliant idea. Yeah. Because you always, need and nappies if you've got young kids and babies. So brilliant idea. So Gary Vee's talking to this guy and he's like, oh yeah, we built it from nothing and all this stuff. And then as he starts the story, he says, so what I did is I found this supplier who was making nappies and I put 100 grand in, started from nothing, put 100 grand in. So a lot of these success stories that you see are people who already had a ton of money. Now we all know Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you've got money, you just invest it to make money. It's very different, but a lot of businesses aren't doing that. And the reality is 90% of businesses aren't in that place. What they're doing is leveraging time. They're leveraging their expertise, their knowledge to make money. So a lot of what you see online is people who've already made money, leveraging money to make money, i.e. they're buying something or they're putting 100 grand in ads to make something work. They're not coming from the same place. And so what happens is we end up with this like pisser about our own business. I'm sorry, I'm swearing this morning. Pisser about our own business because we see these fuckers, bluntly, shoving it down our throats, and most of it is coming from they've either made their money. So Andrew Tate talks about how he made $36 million from a course. What he doesn't tell you is that before that he made a ton of money using adult cams. Yeah, he doesn't tell you of if you don't follow him that intensely, he was in, I think it was kickboxing. So he's doing a lot of stuff before that he's made. And if you look back when he was doing the kickboxing, he did the Big Brother thing, he did all that stuff. You look back, that's where he made his money. And that's when he shifted to making money, to trading his money for money. Whereas many business owners are in time for money. And if you try and make that comparison, it will screw you up. It really will screw you up because it's not the case. And that's why I think most people look at those people showing the Lamborghini, showing all of that stuff and go, I want that. Even if we think it's a bit crass, having it dangled in your face, people say, I want that. So they buy that course, then realize they've actually got to do effort. And in the back of their minds, they're going, he's not doing that. She's not doing that. So why am I doing it? You're in a different space. You're in a different place. And so if you don't have the money to throw at the problem, you have to throw time at the problem. There's no other way. If you don't have money to throw at the problem, i.e., I want to put another £100,000 a year on my business. I want to put 200,000 or 500,000 on it. Well, you have to throw money at it. By money, you go, right, I need salespeople, I need a marketing team, I need all of that. If that's throwing money at a problem to get the answer. If you don't have that, and this is how I had to do it, I had to work myself crazy, I still do sometimes, work myself crazy. And as we started to make some money, I actually backfilled team. Not the greatest way of doing it, actually, because then you end up with homogenous departments. But that's how I had to do it, because I didn't have the money to just invest and go, yeah, we've got 6 months money in the bank, so I'll hire this and I'll do this and I'll do that. I started with one person. It was one person. So the reality is, and I don't want to kind of give you a depressing, is don't keep buying stuff. Don't keep buying more and more courses. Implement stuff. If you implement stuff, even if it's half successful, it's going to help. Most people worry about the impact of what if they do something and it messes it up. What if they and get themselves into these weird false dilemmas. If I do this, what happens if it puts people off? Well, the people you're already working with should know you well enough that they can survive some of your bumps and bruises. That's the first thing, the mistakes you will make, the people you're already working with. So it's probably not going to, unless you start doing something really crazy, it's not going to lose your existing business. So then you're worrying about, if I do this, Could it put people off who might buy from me? You don't know who they are, by the way, but you're still worried about them. Or do you go, right, I'm just going to go out there and see any effort might help. Now, I see people doing this every day. Yeah, people are doing this every day. There are people just sending template messages out every single day across all social media. And in fact, there's one that's annoying me at the moment because I've had about 5 or 6 messages across different channels from the same company. And no doubt I'll have more this week. And they just hit people up and they're playing a numbers game. Now, I don't advocate playing the lottery like that, because ultimately you will run out, you will exhaust your pool of people pretty quickly, far faster than you might think. So I don't advocate that, but something is moving forward. Even if something works, 10% successful, it's something you can improve. But what happens is we get something that's 10% successful and we go, bin it. Imagine if Elon Musk did that. Imagine if he did that and went, you know what? I've got something that's 10% successful towards getting me to Mars. Yeah, I'm going to bin it, try something new. Now, the first thing you do is go, how can I get that from 10% to 20%? And how can I get it from 20% to 40%? You have to take those incremental steps. No system works perfectly on day one. None. Why? I'm sure Mike would chip in. I don't know whether he's checked out, but Mike would chip in. He helps people get healthy and get fit. And I know lots of people in the fitness world and health and coaching know that on day one, you make little milestones, little breakthroughs, but it takes a while to really see the benefit. That's why you don't get coaches don't like you doing one-off sessions, because what happens is you get a little breakthrough, you think it's great, and then you move off and no further progress. To actually get the real results, there is a journey, and that system has to be tested, tweaked, and improved. If you don't do that, you're going to be buying more and more courses. At the end of the day, if you I want to say something really cheesy. Once, and it comes back to what David was saying earlier about learning and getting more knowledge. Knowledge is good. Implementation is where that knowledge becomes a skill. The knowledge becomes a skill when you implement, because you'll learn what you're good at, what you're not good at, the bits you find difficult, the bits you find easy, and you can navigate your way through. Because I could tell you now, not everybody needs to be on LinkedIn to build a business. I know I shouldn't say that because that would probably cost me some money. But some people you might find actually TikTok's easier for me. Now, is the same audience on there? Well, a percentage of everybody's audience is on every channel. The question is, how easy is it to get to them? Yeah, just think about it like that. Everybody's audience is on every channel. It's just how easy it is to get to them. So you think about, well, which is the easiest channel to get to them? But then, which is the easiest channel for you, which is based on which you're most comfortable with? That's why, for me, LinkedIn is my comfortable space. Whereas Facebook, I started on Facebook and moved off and got out of practice on Facebook, working on Twitter a little bit more, doing a bit more TikTok, but actually LinkedIn's my comfortable space. Morning, Ashley. So it's as much about what's comfortable for you, but you have to learn the skill of the channel, and you only learn that you can know it, but you actually get the skill by doing it. Yeah. So it's like an apprenticeship, really. An apprenticeship can know how something works, but an apprenticeship to make it work and build it is a different thing. And you have to see yourself as right, I'm going on TikTok. I'm an apprentice. So, okay, I understand how you make videos and the ways to do it to get the attention, but then there's the art of actually doing it. Yeah. Art of doing it is really tough. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I'm just doing TikToks. I'm not comfortable on recorded videos. The reason I do lives is because I just talk. And sometimes I put my foot in it, but I feel most comfortable here. So I go onto TikTok, I do my videos, and it doesn't matter if I think it's crap. I'm going to put it out because I'll see it and I'll learn from it. But if I don't put it out, I'll never learn that. Actually, sometimes there's some TikToks. If you go to my TikTok, there's some TikToks at the bottom, right? And they're so embarrassing, of me trying to do dances. And then I realized, you know what? I can't do this. I cannot do this. I look like an idiot, right? So I tried to do it, failed at it, but I put them out. So I'm sure my son's friends have seen them and all of that stuff, but I put them out and I go, right. And if you look at my TikTok, hopefully you can see it's actually getting better and better. And if you look at some of my live webinars from like 2-3 years ago and look at them now, I think they're getting better and better. But if you don't do it, you don't get better. Apprenticeship. And that's the model of the way you need to think about it. Thank you, Richard. Ashley. No, yeah. I mean, LinkedIn's great for me because there's a lot of business owners on there, but actually Facebook is a big place for me. I've just got out of the practice. Facebook and LinkedIn are probably really good for me. TikTok, maybe, but I've got to get over the hump of doing the videos, and I'm getting there slowly. So I'm trying to put a video out every day, primarily to get into the swing of it. Yeah, to get in the swing of it. And one of the reasons why I've started to do the lives here is because if I'm doing a live pretty much every day on LinkedIn, they're going live to everywhere else as well. But because I'm doing it live on LinkedIn, I'm getting better and better at talking to a camera. So the idea is that if I've done this so many gazillion times, I'll be an absolute natural, which will help me do my video recording, which I really struggle with video recordings. Live, love, but doing those video recordings. So I thought, well, hang on a minute. If I just go nuts on live video, I'll perfect my live skills. It's bound to help my video recording skills. So yeah, so if you want to have a look and have a laugh at some of my TikToks, there's one where I'm doing this, which is quite funny. There's a couple of others, but yeah, it's really pathetic. But it's an apprenticeship. There's a system to it. There's a process to it. Most people just buy the knowledge, and then when they struggle with the system and the process, they just give up. And when they give up on the process, that's where the success is. The knowledge is not the success. The process and the system is the success. And pretty much every process and every system that you implement, at least initially, has faults and issues and bits and pieces that need fixing. I'm not saying that that's, what am I saying? I'm not saying that the system doesn't work. I'm just saying by its inherent nature, the first time you build something, having never built it before, there will be kinks in the way you've built it that you have to knock out. There'll be gremlins in the machinery. Yeah, that's just the way it is. You can't really avoid them unless you spend money. Again, money, spend money to actually get people in who've built these systems before, but then you've still got the problem of you're running this system and you've never run this system before. So there's always going to be those kinks and gremlins. But what a lot of people do is get the knowledge from a course, try and do it, realize there's the kinks and gremlins, and then assume that there's something, it doesn't work, and buy another course and do it again. Ashley, oh, is it really? Is it really? Ashley's just said today is don't give up day, which is really apt. Don't give up day. I mean, despite the miserable news that's going on at the moment everywhere, absolute miserable news, it's like, okay, don't give up. And I had one bit of encouraging. I'm going to finish with this. Hopefully it's encouraging, but I have a weird motivation thing. So inflation, everybody's terrified about inflation right now. And rightly so. Here as a business, our energy bills have trebled. So that's horrendous. And I am not sure how morally the energy companies can justify a commercial energy trebling. There's no need to treble it. Um, yeah, consumer bills are controlled, but they're going up by 70%. Why a business is going up 3 times? It's immoral. Anyway, but this inflation is absolutely terrifying lots of people. And the problem is when people are afraid, they stop spending, which is what inflation, interest rates, and all that stuff is trying to balance it out. But it's all driven by how optimistic people feel about the future of the economy. If they don't feel optimistic, they stop spending, which drives inflation down. When you take out the energy issues, right, and this is semi encouraging. When you take out the energy issues, inflation is still running high, but it's only about 4%. Everything else is about 4%. Now, I'm not an economist, so I might have this out a little bit, but it's about 4%. So whilst the energy bit is really scary, there's also this 13%, 13%, 13%. But the vast majority of that 13% is energy. It's energy. And so we can talk ourselves into a terrible thought process, which actually infects our decision making, it infects our outlook, and it affects our actions. Is this, yes, the energy thing is going to be a nightmare. It really is. It's going to be painful for everybody. You know, I heard a story about a fish and chip shop that's just shut down because their energy bill has gone from something like 7,000 a year to 28,000 a year in the new projections, and they said this doesn't work. 28 grand on energy is just nuts for a fish and chip shop. So anyway, when you take away the energy issue, the inflation issue isn't as big. So if you deal with that bit, yeah, which is the toughest bit of the inflation problem, if we deal with that bit, and if we can plan and work out how we cope with that bit, actually the other inflation bit is not the biggest challenge. It's not as big as a mountain as we can. And we need to kind of compartmentalize sometimes. I think the news is terrible for this. I'm having a rant about the news here, but they're just stoking lots of fear up all the time. It's like every day they're bringing a new projection for energy costs, and every day there's something else going on. And it's like, guys, you need to stop doing this, because human beings are susceptible, very susceptible to messaging, and you are literally installing fear. So what I do is I compartmentalize problems. So I go, look, I've got inflation on energy here, right? So what else is going up? And actually what I found is most other things are not going up by very much. Yeah. Most things go up by a few percent every year anyway. You know, so we buy a lot of paper because we do a lot of training manuals and all sorts of stuff. So we buy a lot of paper, and every year paper goes up by 4%. It's going up a similar amount for 5-6%. Still a lot, but actually that's the nature of general business. Once you strip out some of these costs and compartmentalize them, you go, right, we're going to deal with that. How are we going to deal with that problem? How are we going to deal with that problem? But what happens is we have this massive problem that becomes so huge and nebulous that we can't actually solve it. So I just isolate each problem and go, right, how do I address that one? How do I address that one? How do I address that one? But Ashley, I really like the it's don't give up day. I did not know that when I came on, but yeah. So if I still have any credibility left, if you've checked out my TikTok videos, thank you for joining me this morning. Hope you have a good day. Remember what Ashley said, it's don't give up day, so don't give up. And the success is in making the system work, not in the knowledge. It's in the implementation that where success is made. So you have to go do stuff with what you've all learned. And if you've spent 100 grand on courses, you need to stop buying more, including mine. Don't buy mine, and go and implement what you've already bought. Pick one, go implement it, and make it work. Make it work. As I say, make it happen. It will take some testing, it will take some tweaks, but go and make it work. There's no point you sinking your money into courses if you don't implement them. Otherwise, you just become a course junkie. right, I'm going. Have a great day, and I'll probably see you tomorrow.